What is going on, guys? Joey Franzel here at Flex Training Systems. Today we're talking about a topic that I feel will benefit you immensely. It might make you feel sad about yourself. It might make you, have to look introvertly.
Oh my god, I'm nuts!
Thank you so much for the follow.
I'm nuts!
You might have to look deep inside and be like, you know what? Joey's describing me exactly word for word right now. Because most people, you're going to fall into one or two categories, okay? Before we get into this, I got to shout out the people in the chat, because you guys all helped me come up with these different pros and cons, if you will. But today we're talking about healthy rivals, the pros and cons of having a rival, how it relates to lifting. Also, shout out to my boy Weez and Grant, the world's strongest 12-year-old. They're boys, and they're kind of like, they're around the same age, and they're, similar strength to each other, and they're pushing each other. But it's in a healthy, positive way. They're on the same team. Like, they're not even in the same weight class. Like, I mean, they could be, but
Oh my
I'd
god,
rather
I'm
not.
nuts!
Thank you for the follow, man.
I'm nuts!
These follows coming in mid-video. Anyway, so we're gonna kind of go through it, and I've dealt with many lifters over the past that have had good things come from having a rival and bad things. And I think it's very personality dependent. I don't necessarily know. I will say this. Through coaching, I know that it is possible to take somebody that has mainly these negative, these cons here, and slowly transfer them over to, turning it into positives. But it takes a lot of time, a lot of positive reinforcement, and just existing in the space of powerlifting and being a competitor for a long time. Eventually you can change, and it can become a good thing. So we're going to kind of go through that. We do live in this day and age where social media is a big part of what we're doing. I mean, that's how you guys found me. That's how you guys, find your competitors. That's how you hear about nationals and all these different things. And I think a lot of times as lifters, people, it's a normal thing for people to want to compare themselves to others. And I think for some that can be a good thing, and for others it can be a very bad thing. Jesus. So we're going to go through it. Positives. Right, hold on. Is the music too loud? Somebody let me know. Is the music too loud? I want it barely listenable. Anyway, some of the positives of having a healthy rival, or a rival in general, right? You get a kind of an extra push motivation, and some motivation from it. I know for me personally, when I was in football, and we were going through really, really, really hard days of training, or we would have to do our weights, then we would do full team after endos, and then we have to do conditioning after, and maybe somebody screws up or we get in trouble, and then we got to just do crazy, crazy punishment, right? You are literally pushed to your limits, and it is a lot easier to get through that when you have one of your best friends right next to you, right? Like literally right next to you, and you guys are going through it together, let alone a whole team of guys, kind of suffering through it together. You can all kind of push each other, and you're not really competing against each other in that moment, but there is a sense of motivation in that. If you have a rival in powerlifting and you can see that they're going through it, or they're struggling or whatever, and you're kind of going through it too, it's like, hey, you know what? We're all in this together, and it kind of gives you that sense of camaraderie, right? Another positive is it's something to chase, right? So I always like to say that a rising tide lifts all ships. I don't even know if that's the exact term, but I will say that there are many instances in lifting, and I'm sure I know for a fact in many other sports, where you will have one person achieve a milestone or hit a record or break a limit, and that will inspire others to then reach that level. For example, if I take Russell's total from 2017 and you just like slot that in to powerlifting now, it's like top 5, right? Whereas back then it was number 1. There was nobody doing that, and now it's like a much more common thing. I am not sure how long that is going to keep up, but it is it's kind of been like that over the years, right? It might take a year or two to slow down, But essentially, it's like, if Russ can hit 1900 at 83 kg, then that's going to inspire other 83s to try to chase that. It's going to give them something to go for. Um, that's why a lot of times when people break records, they barely, barely, barely break the record. It's not. Sometimes they destroy it, and sometimes it's like barely, but usually it's just like somebody's chipping it by a little, someone's chipping it by a little, and it's just kind of, got that little like reverse slinky effect, I like to call it. Um, you can feel good about yourself. Okay, so if you have a competitor that you're watching, and you see them hit a big PR and everybody's gassing them up, and then you surpass that, that might make you feel better about yourself. Um, you might be like, okay, I'm ahead, and you're gonna have this kind of sense of accomplishment, and you're gonna feel better about sort of where you stand in relation to others. Um, by comparing yourself to others. Now that does literally work. It works the exact opposite, which we're gonna get to. Um, this should have been somewhere else because I am giving you examples as we go. Healthy banter is exciting for viewers. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I guess it could give you more attention, right? If people start to see a conversation around two lifters going head to head, they start to pick sides. I don't know why humans just do this, and they might say, "Oh man, I'm really rooting for this guy, and I'm really rooting for this guy." It's the same thing in sports. If just as like if Russ is continuously, he won 2017, 2018, 2019, he's going to Worlds multiple times, right? He's going to start to build a lot of people that support him and want him to continue to win. At the same time, there's always going to be those people that are sort of like contrarians. They always got to go against the grain. They're going to just vote for the next person. They're going to always go for the underdog. And it's a normal thing. It just is what it is. It comes with the territory. With Amanda and Danny, we saw like a huge viewership on that matchup. It's the same thing when you have like two big lifters and they are, they're at the top of the game. You're always going to have like this kind of, uh, a lot of people are going to get behind it and they're going to want to, like, do you overthrow the champion or does the champion continue to dominate? You know what I'm saying? So, in a sense, it is a good thing for the sport, and maybe that is also another sense of motivation for the lifters involved, because so many people are watching, and they want to see what's going to happen. Um, Another thing, I think this also goes under feeling good about yourself, and I have talked about this briefly before with people, and someone did say, I mean, that's taking it a little bit too serious, but I mean, if I mean, I'm a serious type of coach, right? I deal with serious lifters. I want to be the best. They want to go to worlds. They want to win stuff, right? Um, if you see your competitor and they're in a very bad mental state, or they're constantly exhibiting weakness online, or their lifts don't look very good, I don't care what anybody says, that is going to empower your opposition. That is going to literally, they might be going into the gym one day and they're like slogging it, right? They just don't have it. They're not even motivated to go to the gym, and they open up their phone and they're like, "Man, this my number one competitor, they're on the back foot right now. They're maybe they over went out of the pocket, maybe they're injured, maybe they're really fatigued, and they're going to get super motivated by that, and they're going to want to bury you even more. So then, that might give them a little boost, like, you know what? Like, I know I can beat them. I know I can beat them. I am going to freaking like, I'm motivated now. I don't even care. Like, I wasn't feeling like training today, but today I feel like, seeing that the opportunity of them, becoming the champion or winning gold, or just
Oh my God! I'm
winning a
done!
collegiate competition or a high school nationals, whatever, and seeing your competitor like fumble, it's going to empower your opposition. It happens all the time. We call it blood in the water, right? When a shark knows that its prey is injured and they smell that blood, they know that it's time to come get them because they're bleeding out, right? It's a matter of time before it's game over. So that might be a little bit of an extreme take. At the end of the day, we're all competitors. We're going to shake it up after. We're just lifting weights. But it is a serious thing, and there is a lot of passion and excitement that goes into it. We spend hours and hours and hours. Our whole lives revolve around training, sleep, recovery, tracking your food, making sure that you're doing everything that you need to do to put yourself in a position to be successful, right? So, all those things are positive things. And in regards to, Wheeze and my boy Grant, they are pushing each other. There's a sense of there's camaraderie there. It's like It's like, they'll hit a PR and say, "I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you." Right? You're gonna see us saying that a lot these days, right? And and it's true. It's like we're all winning together. Everybody can win. You know what I'm saying? And in their own way. Like at the end of the day, yes, we're competing against other people, but uh, some people have more fortunate situations than others. Not everyone is going to be able to um, tolerate training or have the same attention that they can put towards their training as everybody else. So, you gotta, you could, no matter what happens, no one can take away how far you've come on your journey and where you're at, right? No, doesn't matter if you're going against a genetic freak or if you're grinding head to head versus somebody else. If you start off with a 300-pound squat or a 250-pound squat, and you train and you squat 700 pounds or 600 pounds or whatever, um, nobody could take that from you. You worked really, really hard at something, and you eventually got to an appreciable point that 99.9% people in society will never even come close to, right? And you can always take that with you, and that's going to empower you. And that's one of the great things about powerlifting, is that it gives you that sense of accomplishment, and that you did improve and that you did get better, and it does great things for your psyche. So um, now, cons. We're going to talk about some of the negative things. So first up, we have self-doubt, second guessing, and insecurities, right? So again, you're going to watch your competitor, and they're going to put the pressure on you, right? They're going to constantly be improving, and you're going to have that pressure to continue to get better, and you might second guess yourself. You might have a lot of self-doubt, like, oh man, I can't keep up, and you kind of go down this spiral of just feeling like you'll never be able to catch them. Your insecurities are talking to you. Um, you just really get into this really toxic negative mindset where, you just feel like you can't do it. And that's such a negative thing. And I've literally had lifters before. This was not my recommendation, because I believe that we can train ourselves um, to do anything if we really want to. I've seen lifters get off social media because for their prep, they just needed to do it for their own brain, right? They just needed to get off of social media and focus on themselves, without any distractions, without, coming up on my next point here. Where is it? Like, let's say you work really, really, really hard and you hit a PR, right? And the same day or the day after, your competitor just hits 10 kilos more. That might make some people want to quit, right? That might literally make them feel like shit. It might make them feel like, you know what, I can't do this. I'm not gonna make it. I don't have what it takes, and then that self-doubt really starts to creep in, and like I said, you kind of just compounds into the next thing, and then you just don't go to training the next day because you're sad about it, and then you skip this and you skip that, and it's just like all these things that add up, right? It gives you this bad mentality towards training. Um, like I said, most people are not built for pressure, right? How do you make a diamond? You have to apply pressure, apply pressure, apply pressure, and eventually, after a gazillion years, you get this unbelievably hard stone, right? People love diamonds. Diamonds are held in high regard. They say pressure makes diamonds. Not everybody is built to withstand that pressure. Some people are going to crack under pressure. I said this years ago. I said this probably 4 or 5 years ago in a video. There's two types of competitors, right? You're either going to crack under pressure, or you're going to rise to the occasion. You're going to meet the threat, and you're going to give it all you got. And at the end of the day, you're going to be happy with the work that you put in, and you're going to have no regrets because you gave it everything that you had. I'm not saying that, hey, if you can't handle pressure, you're like a bad person or something. I'm just saying that it's just not for everyone. You know what I mean? It's just literally not for everyone. Like, I don't know how else to put it. It's one of those things that, like, I know people that don't like competing. Even for me, competing I love competition, but at the same time, it is stressful, but it's also exhilarating. It's like I like this, but I have to be on point, and there's pressure on me to do it, right? And eventually, the more times you put yourself in those kind of situations, if you're constantly competing with others all the time, it becomes, I think it's just going to elevate you and push you to a completely, higher level, higher than anything that you've ever achieved before, right? But you need to continuously put yourselves in those situations where there's pressure placed upon you, and you need to perform, right? Um, some people kind of just are like that. They played sports when they were a kid. Maybe it's genetic. I have no idea, but they're just really good at competing. They just, I have some. It's very weird. Like I have some girls even. They didn't even do any sports. They just they just execute. Like I don't know what it is. And then you have others that they get really emotional and they get in their head, and those negative thoughts, like once that little seed of a negative thought gets planted in their brain, it just grows like rapidly, right? So everybody's different. That's why I said at the beginning of this video, everything is extremely personality dependent. You can get from here to here, but it takes time. What else we got? Pushing too hard, injuries, out of pocket. Okay, so this is a very don't do this. Like if you see your competitor and they're outdoing you in the moment, and you try to keep up with them, and you think you need to overshoot all the time, or you need to always display that you're going heavy, whatever, eventually you're gonna get hurt. It's gonna screw up the rest of your training. It's really not gonna be that worth it. It's such a short-term thing, and you just you might look dumb doing it, right? I think there's something to be said when you have like all these external factors like messing on, like kind of imposing on your psyche, and you're just like, nope, I'm not gonna let it mess me up. I'm gonna stay calm, cool, collected. I'm gonna follow my program, and I know that on meet day my best self is gonna show up. I think that's what you should do. You don't need to do things to try to push yourself to go out of line. I guarantee you there's lifters that have gotten hurt trying to show off, or trying to look how strong I am, whatever, trying to keep up with others. So it's not the way to do it. As a coach, when I see that, I'm just like, yeah, this person has a lot of growing up to do. And you at the end of the day, I think you should just focus on yourself and do your own thing, and if you trust the process, you'll get there eventually. So yeah, low motivation. Again, this kind of goes into destroying your happiness when you hit a PR and they beat it. If you work really, 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 really hard for something, and then you feel accomplished when you get it, and immediately after somebody surpasses that, you're gonna feel demoralized. You're gonna be like, wow, I just put in all this work in, and now I feel helpless. I don't feel motivated. I feel like, what's the point of me trying to be on top when someone else is just gonna beat me like right away that quickly, right? I like I said, it's your own journey, right? You can't compare yourself to people that have a more fortunate situation. Everybody's going through something, right? Also, there are people that are going through more than what you are, and they're performing better because they have a better mindset around the situation, right? Maybe you get injured, and then you get sick, and then something happens to you outside the gym, and all of that stuff derails your training. There's going to be somebody else that has had all that happen to them, and then some, and they're still going to be doing better than you are, right? So that kind of puts things in perspective. Like, are you being a big baby about it, or are you like, now if you are being a big baby about it, that might be your limit, right? There might be some people that are just, as they say, built different, right? They could just handle shit. They could just handle adversity. They could have the world crashing in around them.
Oh my God, I'm nuts!
Thank you so much for the follow. They can have the world crashing in around them, and they just get through it. Like, they just handle it. They don't. I had a lifter whose house literally burnt down. Literally burnt down. That whole house burnt down. Do you understand what it's like to have your house burned down? I don't. Okay? Literally had their house burned down. The amount of pain and suffering that goes into that. And they said they needed to continue. I just had a lifter's mom die. Okay? I just had a lifter's mom die from Rona. And they say, you know what, Joey? At first, he was like, I need to take a break. I'm like, that's perfectly fine. I pray for you, brother. I don't even pray, but I pray for you, brother. And then he came back to me the next week. He's like, you know what? I need to train for my mental health. I need to do it, right? I need to be strong. I need to get through this. There are just some people that like I commend them. It's just nuts what they can go through, right? Those are catastrophically, horribly negative things. But they just have the ability to withstand that and continue to train. They don't get depressed. They don't get... I mean, it's normal to be depressed. It is normal to be depressed, right? And I always tell these kids, like, I get a lot of people that come to me and they're like, I want to be the best. I want to be the best. I want to be like this lifter that you coach. And I want to tell them in that moment, this lifter that you want to be like has an unbelievable ability to deal with, like, so do you ever have like nightmares at night where you feel like you just have this you're being crushed, right? I haven't had this for years, but you just feel like so much pressure on you, like you're so worried about something, you're so afraid of something. They have an unbelievable ability to just have an immense amount of life stress being placed on them, and they can still get through it, and they can still thrive. It is nuts to see it, right? I see these lifters every day, right? I see them going through things. I have hundreds of people that I have to check up on and deal with on a daily basis, whether it's my lifters or my, one of my coaches is like, hey, my lifter's going through this, like, what do you think about it, whatever. And it just like, I don't know if it's something they gain through powerlifting. I don't know what it is, but just seeing people kind of like go through crazy adversity and be resilient, it really makes you feel like people are special. Like, there's a lot of trash things in the world, like horribly negative things. How the hell did we get on this, guys? How did we get on that? I'm talking about having a rival in powerlifting. But being a good competitor is about having just this crazy mental toughness. If you're one of those people, you're gonna kind of be up here in the top, right? It's the same thing with I've had lifters come to me, like, you guys know I'm a coach, and I coach obviously multiple people in the same weight class many times. And I've asked, I'm sure Keiko doesn't mind this, I've said, hey Keiko, how do you feel if I how would you feel if I had another 93 that was really strong and he was competing against you? He would say like, oh, that's great, like that's gonna push me to be even better, and like we can like push each other, and it's all good, it's all good things, right? Because if I'm truly stronger, I'll win. And then I've had other competitors where they don't want that. They don't want that at all. They get worried. They think like, oh man, like what, like this person is gonna take from me, and now they're gonna have Joey like helping them too. It's like, oh man, like I'm screwed, right? That's they kind of feel helpless in a way, and that's okay. They're right. They have the ability to feel that, and I am respectful of people's feelings, and I feel like there's, like I said, there's no like right or wrong. One is going to be more beneficial towards being a better competitor, but I am not anyone to say you can't feel that way, you have to feel this way. Now I mean, there's not really rules on it, right? Some coaches might be like, no, I'm gonna do this, and you just need to feel this way about it, and for me, I just feel like it's good to have a conversation about it. But again, everybody is different. Having a good rival, having a competitor, comparing to others, for most people, you're going to be somewhere in the middle, but for some, it might be a good thing. It's going to be a good thing. It's going to make you better. It's going to push you to work harder, right? For others, it's a bad thing. You're not ready for it yet. You're not ready to have someone constantly pressuring you, constantly on your back, constantly, demanding that you improve and that you get stronger constantly. So I think it's very important in certain lifters' careers that pressure is applied at different points, right, and in different doses. You might take on more than you can chew, and it might kind of screw you up, and you might not have enough pressure. You might get complacent. You might just get lazy. So, and then the final point here, all the way down here at the bottom, afraid of the right weight class. So like, if the person you're trying to compete against is in a weight class that is ideal for you, like, you should move up a weight class. But you're just like, wow, it'll take me so long to catch up to them, and they're still getting better. I'm just gonna continue to sacrifice my long-term progress by staying in a lower weight class. I mean, in my opinion, that's a net negative, right? If you personally could be a better lifter competing in the higher weight class, like maybe your rank is the same, or maybe your rank is like a couple points better in the higher weight class, a couple places better, but you're not the best, or you're not, or vice versa, whatever, you're gonna want to stay like in that lower weight class. But in my opinion, it's like you should just compete where your body's happiest, because I mean, there's oftentimes people don't even make the weight, right? Or they make weight, but their total is just not what it could have been. They could be phenomenal 9 for 9 lifters in the higher weight class, but they choose to stay in the lighter weight class. So I mean, that's something to think about, right? Are you really be objective with yourself? I had a conversation with somebody a while back, and I was just like, are you scared to move up because of your competition? Because I think you'll be a better lifter if you move up, or you know, what is your reason for it, right? You gotta really like ask yourself why are you not moving up? But yeah, at the end of the day, I think having a rival in lifting can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing, and I think everybody's different. And I would like to hopefully teach people to move slowly towards competition, and the pressure from competition being a good thing. And everybody likes it in doses. Some people want to compare all the time, and it doesn't affect them negatively at all. It lets them know where they're at, and it motivates them to want to improve, right? And then vice versa for others. So that being said, if you made it this far, Jesus, if you made it this far, I want to know what kind of lifter do you feel you are in the comments below. Just take a second, ask yourself, would I benefit from comparing myself and having a rival? Do I have a rival? Do you have a rival? Is there somebody that pushes you? Is there a lifter that you watch that motivates you, that you want to catch one day? Or do you feel like it messes you up when you look at others? Have you ever experienced second guessing yourself, or have you ever just had crazy self-doubt from watching another person, right? It's crazy how the mind works. I'm actually interested. I'm really interested. That's all I want from you guys in the comments. You don't even have to hashtag anything if you don't want to. That being said, thank you guys so much. Really good. I think it's a good topic. I think it needs to be talked about more. And yeah, that's pretty much that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.